janefinch.com.
All right, I just want to give some respect to janefinch.com, and thanks for coming out today. Here's my campaign office. As you can see, for those of you maybe who are interested or disinterested in politics, this is what the Tom Rakocevic York West NDP campaign looks like. I think we're all a product of our past. My past was a tenant. I grew up in the community of York West, and I spent most of my life as a tenant, 32 years of that as a tenant in this community. Most of that life that I spent as a young person was with a father who was sick in a hospital bed. My mother was the only source of income in our household. She went to work, never complained, and the only thing she ever said was she wished she could provide more from her family. This is probably something similar that many of you guys watching have gone through yourself. When my father passed away, my mother and I continued to take care of each other. Years later, I take care of her. She stays with me because family means everything to me. If you've never voted, and if you're a cynic, and I grew up with a lot of people like that, you probably feel that there's no one out there to represent your voice. But I'm a guy who grew up in this community. Nothing was handed easy to me. I went to Jeffries, I went to Elia, I went to Derrydown, I went to York University. York West has been my lifelong home. I understand what you're going through because a lot of it I went through myself. In many ways, if you look at me, I feel that I hope you draw some element that you can get success in many ways, just like I'm fighting for and I'm striving for, and that your voice can make a difference. You know, when I was a teenager, the landlord where I grew up in the building wanted to take away a park, a pool, a place where we played soccer, families picnicked. He wanted to develop it. The community was against it. Now you see, my father was sick, but he was a guy that always believed that we could make a difference. So he said, son, look, if you've got an opinion, share it, right? And people will listen, they'll respect that. So I did. I got a clipboard, I was a teenager, I knocked on doors, I talked to adults, and we talked about our community, and it was a big eye-opening experience for me. Now the thing is, some of the politicians actually stood up for us. Now not everybody did, but we won that fight. Now, why am I interested in politics and why am I involved? Because I realized that if my mother didn't have a good job with benefits, she would have never been able to support me and my father. If some of those politicians didn't stand up for the community, we wouldn't have that park to this day, the pool and the place where we enjoy. It makes a difference if you vote. There are people out there that are fighting for us, fighting to support the things that we care about. And there are also politicians and people out there that don't. Unfortunately, in my community, many people, and especially tenants, stay home. They don't vote. They feel disenfranchised, like their voice doesn't matter. But I'm living proof that you can make a difference, and I'm trying that every single day. I ran in 2011, I came close. People were surprised with the result, but I wasn't, neither was my team, because I felt change in the air, and I feel it this time. We're neck and neck. All of you that are watching today, that think that there are people out there that you can't make a difference and that it's impossible to go against the system and bring change, well, come out and join me because we can make it together. The last 7 years I've worked with Councillor Provincial. He is the city councillor for Ward 8, which is part of York West, and also the place where I live. And I'm proud to be able, through that job, to help people on a daily basis. I'm active in schools like Jeffries, Elia, Derrydown, and many others. I go to the university, I talk to students, I'm in community centers, I'm working with seniors. We're facing real challenges in this community, the potential school closures, you know, infrastructure breaking down, safety issues. If you stay home, you're not helping, right? You got to get out there and you got to make a difference too. I invite you to get involved. And the thing is this, if you think government doesn't matter, in the last 10 years, we're seeing less and less people graduating with post-secondary education or even high school and going into careers. What are the available jobs these days? Minimum wage, part-time jobs, only available through agencies? That's the reality many of us are living. But this has all happened under the same government. Now, if you turn on the news, you hear about scandal, cover-up. I know everybody throws mud and they sling, you know, rocks at each other, you name it, but here's the reality. Billions of dollars have gone wasted. These billions of dollars could be invested into schools like in the Jane and Finch area, where we all know some of them are falling apart. They could have been invested in our parks, they could have been invested in healthcare. I mean, we're sitting there, if something happens to you or a loved one, you're waiting hours and hours in an ER room, right? So it matters. And the situation won't get better unless you get involved. So I'm Tom Rakocevic, and I'm telling you that you can make a difference. I'm trying to make a difference every day. So get out there and vote. Thank you.